Coming from Sea Monster Productions, we are thrust into the morning following a wild St. Patrick's Day celebration in Chicago. The infamous green beer has been tampered with and is turning people into flesh-eating zombies. Thomas awakens after a night of hard drinking, having been sick from his consumption, and finds himself holed up in a now deserted bar with Caitlin, as they try and decide how it's all going to end. I definitely got a bit of a Shaun of the Dead vibe from this one, mostly due to the film's setting and the fact that it's a zombie comedy. I use the term comedy loosely, since I have to say I didn't even laugh at this one. As I said, friends, this is an extremely low-budget horror comedy that, in my opinion, hosts more problems than anything else. The film's visual style remains very standard, with no real risk taken in the camera techniques or lighting. Early on, we are treated to a single long panning take that very clearly utilizes some warp stabilization to smooth out its movement. Though the special effects are practical, they are very low grade and don't sell anything in any real way. For God's sake, the only zombie we see has a face that looks like someone formed it out of fucking Silly Putty. I understand what the film was attempting to be, however my biggest issue is that the plot just doesn't go anywhere. It remains paint by numbers in terms of a zombie film structure, spinning every moment toward the most obvious of comedy angles. We learn almost nothing important about the characters, they accomplish nothing, and don't grow in any relevant way from start to finish. I hate to shit on a film, but it genuinely wasted my time. Then there's the fact that there is no real reason for it to have taken place around St. Patrick's Day at all. The green beer element just feels sorta tacked on. Don't get me wrong, friends, I've seen far worse films, and for that matter, far worse zombie films. I feel that this one could have benefited from another couple passes, including the addition of some stronger character development, and maybe even a redemption arc. For example, I would have loved to see Thomas and Caitlin have had a bit of a backstory. Maybe have them hooked up earlier in the night, or the night before, and then he just blew her off. And in the end, he decides to be the one to shoot her, so that she doesn't have to suffer the fate of being eaten alive, committing a selfless act that could somewhat redeem him. These changes could have still easily been played up in the same comedic light, and delivered a much more satisfying narrative experience.